Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, where I check to make sure everything is working. And so far, so good. This is getting closer and closer to what my ideal is. The 99 after dark. That's kind of where I want things to be heading towards. For some reason, I feel like it'd just be fun to run a late night talk show for Magic that was live streamed. And that way we can all have a conversation together. It could be fun. I don't know yet. We're not doing that. We're doing this. We're brewing shit. But yeah, same concept though. Love to take all of the brews and all the discussions and make it like a late night program. But today, in particular, is a Brew Master segment, which reminds me, I should probably bring up. There really wasn't a quote for this one. It was specifically a request. Just a Tana and Tymna list under $500. I wrote a quote. We'll read off what I wrote, but that's it. Just a sub $500, as competitive as it gets. And I do want to do a special shout out right off the top here. I do not believe I've updated our end roll, but we did just get a new patron, Brendan Moore. Thank you for joining the Patreon at that Brew Master tier. So if there's a list you want to see done, like Kenneth Olson's list today, what are you doing? Hop on over to the Patreon and let me know what that deck is. I've gotten a handful of personal requests to help with decks. One more recently that I haven't responded to, but folks have been asking me to work specifically with them on deck building, which sounds fun. But I don't know how much free time I actually have outside of what I do for the show. So if you did want to have a list looked at, that's the best way, Patreon. And also, I'm trying to bake it into the channel membership on YouTube. Although, I want to say YouTube takes more of the cut than Patreon does. So I don't know what I'm going to settle on. But Patreon's been tried and true up until now. So yeah, if you're not on the Patreon and you want to join, you can. But that's generally where I'll be looking at decks. So if you email me or message me about it, it's not like I'm trying to ignore you. It's just that I might not have the time to get back to you immediately. And two, there is a system in place to actually look at decks. Like what we're doing today. WWC, says Jason W. Is this wristwatch check? Is that what you're trying to say? This old thing? It's funny, I've gotten more interest in my vintage pieces than I have anything modern, but this is a modern Rado Captain Cook. I want to say they're 37 millimeters in diameter, slightly, larger at the bezel. But I love this piece. It's on a vintage JB Champ mesh bracelet that I'm obsessed with. But I think my favorite watch right now is this sucker. I think I've worn it a handful of times on the show, but this is a vintage Glycine Airman. I'm like obsessed with this thing. It's a true 24-hour dial, 24-hour rotating bezel, so you can set up 2 separate time zones. It's just nice. I don't know. It's such a nice timepiece. A great automatic, has hacking, has the date at the 3 o'clock. I love this piece though. And the bracelet's amazing too. But vintage piece, inspired after a vintage piece. And I just have a handful of things behind me. I don't have a huge watch collection right now, but I have been thinking about buying a watch. Seeing as I work with a watch company now is like a celebratorial thing, but I've bought so much other stuff for work that I just don't have money for a watch. I'm also thinking about buying a motorcycle, so I feel like I should set my pennies aside for something more important like that, a means of commuting, as opposed to like buying a Cartier or something, which is kind of what I was thinking. I've always wanted a tank. Always wanted a Cartier tank. Any other watch people in the audience? I feel like there are some people that migrated from my old YouTube channel take time to hear, but very far and few between. But yeah, how are you guys? How are you guys this evening? Do you like the idea of a late night talk show for Magic or anything, really? I genuinely have an interest in talking on more subjects outside of Magic. Maybe even just little micro discussions of popular things in comings and goings in the world right now. Namely, Arcane just concluded, and I don't know if you're a fan of League of Legends or animated original series on Netflix, but this was one, and it's modeled after League of Legends, and it's also getting a collaboration with MTG. So if you haven't watched it, I actually recommend you check it out. Like, I'm not a fan of the lore of League of Legends. I don't really watch League of Legends gameplay, but I know a lot of people still do. It's still extremely popular MOBA. I do play Pokemon Unite, not remotely close. Style of play similar, but you know, we're dealing with Pokemon, which is also its own well-known franchise. But Arcane's based off that universe, and it follows the story of Vi and Powder. And I won't give anything else away, but have you guys watched that? It was phenomenal. Easily like a 9 out of 10 for me. And some of the best animation I've seen in a long time. If I'm not mistaken, it's like some form of 3D animation, but it looks crisp. It looks so damn good. And that's honestly like reason enough to watch it, even if you're not interested in the story or the characters. Just stay for the fight scenes. Let me see here. Jason W. Nice. You need to bring back the watch content. Jason W. Yes. Thank you for following me onto the 99, but obviously also watching Take Time. I just shot an event at, I need to finish cutting this. There's so much work I need to do before this Thanksgiving break, but I just shot an event at the Filson store here in Manhattan for Fairer with the company. It's like a new thing we're doing now that I'm around. And it looks good. It looks really good. Hyper time consuming. But every time we do an event, what I was trying to get at is that I meet a lot of you guys, or at least watch fans there. And you always ask me, like, do I have an Instagram? Will there be more content on Take Time? And it's so awkward because, like, I don't know how many people I work with know about the previous channel. A handful of them do, which is really funny. But yeah, it's like, it's not something that comes up in my mind so far as content generation is concerned, despite my desire to do that. And I don't necessarily want to be a face on the company's main page. Like, I linked some of the stuff I've been doing, like just promotional stuff for the Wind Up Watch Shop, which is just a curated online watch shop that Worn and Wound runs. And so a lot of the same kind of stuff you'll see at Wind Up Watch Fairs, which we host. And it's just a really good time getting to meet you guys if you're a fan of the Watch channel or Worn and Wound and you like the video-based content. It's always fun seeing you guys in person. But two, yeah, I don't know if I want to do work separately because I kind of enjoy not having to think through scripts or think through the kind of content I'm providing. I kind of just like filming. So doing that's great. The stuff for the watch shop is like separate though. Like if you follow that link that I linked up there, give it some love. Like that page is really small. It's relatively new. So if you want to do Pat a favor, make them look good, give that some love because I put a lot of hours into all that video content. And again, it's just like promo for the website, something to get your interest wet in some of the new product we have. Your interest wet. But it's really fun and was laborious. So it'd be nice if more people tuned in to check those out. Let me see here. I'm planning on buying a Zin or Sin, depends on what you want to say, 358 Diapal. Yeah, one of our guys is obsessed with he's got a Sin U, what is it? It's one of their U50. I want to say it's like one of their diver models. Or do you know it's technically a diver? It's got like a countdown bezel. Zin U50. Wait up. He had two of these. Am I lying to you? He has two separate ones. He was wearing this U50, which is a dive watch. It's got these like Lego block hands. I've owned a Zin before. I owned a 356. But I owned one. I bought one that my dad has, which is the anthracite dial. I'm gonna say it's 356, like limited edition. No, not the chronograph. I'm lying to you again. I forgot the references for Zin, but let me look. I'm curious. This 358. Ooh. Do you guys want to look at the watches I'm looking at here? Bam. We're on Zin's website. They're great. If it's your first time ever owning one, I've owned two in the past, and they're fantastic. I've owned both their bracelet types. I'm sure their leather and alternative strap options are great. I usually buy watches on the bracelet if it comes with a bracelet and modify that to my liking. Like if I wanted it on some form of canvas strap or I want it on a leather strap, I generally have like a ton of those lying around. So I get the bracelet because that's harder to come by. And generally, the better deal, just graded off of how expensive it is for like the leather option instead, it's just better to come away with the bracelet if it has a bracelet. Or if you're not a bracelet person, then screw that. But this is handsome. Yeah, these are great. But yours, it sounded like you had a specific model in mind. You can't go wrong. I had a chef friend that was obsessed with Zen, and he wound up buying one, and that's all he wears now. This is entirely true, but he wore it extensively for a long time. But yeah, that's... I'm sure that model's great. I have no particular watch in mind. I kind of just want to get a Cartier tank, like a bare bones. Even a quartz model would be fine. I don't like the date on the automatics. I just think Cartier is one of the only brands that makes a nice looking Roman numeral dial. It's like the only watch company that I think it's palatable. So I've been contemplating getting a tank. And I'm not gonna lie, the guys at the office, like, they like the Santos. I've been looking at the Santos, and they're slowly becoming more appealing, but specifically on the bracelet. I was an MTG player for the longest time, but found you with your watch content, Jason W. Yeah, it's so funny. And I love MTG. I'm into so many board games. Like Justin and we're gonna be hanging out playing a game called Clank. It'll be my first time playing it, but Monday evening after work. It's gonna be a long day, but I'm gonna go over there to play this game Clank. Trying to get my hands on more board games these days. But yeah, I love Magic the Gathering. I've been playing it on and off for years, but obviously extensively now. But Commander's been fantastic. Like, it was my first time jumping into the format a couple years back, and then obviously before we started this channel. But Commander's easily the nicest format to get into if you just want to have some downtime with friends, right? I feel like it's much more communal. Like, if we're playing Cube, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm so much more invested in a Cube night because of the drafting aspect. Like, I'm really thinking heavily about my picks. Not that, you know, winning out over my friends is important. It's just, on a personal level, I far more enjoy the brewing aspect of this game than I actually do playing in most instances. So it's very difficult for me to focus on the camaraderie and, like, communicating with my pals, just having a rollicking good time, which we all want to have, when I'm drafting, because I'm so fixated on the draft. And then obviously when we get, you know, into the actual cube night and start playing our decks, it's a little different. But even still, I feel like Commander's much better for just chatting. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, that's so funny, Jason. I feel bad that I don't know. I've told the people at Worn and Wound that I'm not really interested in being on camera outside of what I'm doing for the wind-up shop. I feel like I'm sort of the unofficial face for that. But it's not really, they hired me to be a videographer, a media producer. There's more than just the videos I'm cutting. That I just don't really want to be on camera anymore. I like the artistry of cutting footage together. That is my main interest there. But you might see me on more content there. We'll see. I mean, I'm happy to bring ideas to the table. There's a lot of stuff I would love to shoot, and they've got, like, the budget to do it. So hopefully, you know, you can see me over there, Jason. That'd be fun. Provided the project was of interest to me. But, like, the stuff on Wind Up Shop, it's just for fun. For me, it's for fun. But also, you know, it's easier for me to just work through those scripts, like, on the fly. Like, if I write it, memorizing it and delivering it to a camera, I can do that fairly easy. 2023 anime slate is fire. 2020, I was gonna say, Trent, 2023. What is this future sight you have? 2022? I believe you. I'm not really I don't really have my ear to the ground as to what's coming out anime wise. Like I said, Arcane just finished. That I was just personally interested in because of the art style of it. Like the animation looked amazing. I'm not watching anything right now outside of the show on Apple Plus. Not Ted Lasso. It's the one about this guy. It's Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd, the sexiest man alive. Fact. One's a shrink and one's just a dude who's struggling with a textile company. That's as much as I've got, like on episode and a half in. That's all I'm watching. I haven't had much time for anime, but I might. Any good recommendations I'll take now. But I believe you. Yes, Pokemon Unite after school tea time. Yeah, Pokemon Unite's great. Oh my god, though. I swear to God. I hate playing with random people. Every time I try to jungle, it's my favorite thing to do. Every time I try to jungle, doesn't matter who I'm playing, someone will jump in with their fucking Zorora and pretend like it's their business. Like, I'll just queue up, say I'm doing it, put middle lane, going middle lane, and always someone jumps in last minute with this notion that they should be jungling. In all those games, we lose. All those games we lose. I'm never going to get to that final tier. Like, I'm the one step away from being the master class or whatever the highest class is. Not to say that we always win when I jungle, but things are usually good when I do. It's so annoying. I love Pokemon Unite, though. I haven't played it for a minute. I played once the squirrel came out, like all the Halloween stuff. I was trying to get that Gengar spacesuit, but I think I missed the window for that, which really killed me. I'm enjoying Gengar, though. Bulbasaur, Ghastly. Pikachu's fine. I love Squirtle. And Mr. Mime has been like... And when I don't get to jungle, because I'll either jungle with Bulbasaur or Ghastly, I love playing Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is the most fun. It's a great mix of offense and defense. Super is good too, and I wouldn't say it really depends on the group dynamic. Like, if you're playing with random people, you usually don't get to leverage the most out of it. But if you're just like soloing a lane or even doubling down on a lane, really good. Pokemon Unite, you guys should check it out. It's free to play. You don't even need to like Pokemon, but being an ardent fan, it's been great. You got me into cEDH. Would love to unite on Unite. Have you played the new... No. No, I haven't. Gauge. Maybe we should make a separate channel on the Discord for people that just play. It doesn't have to be Pokemon Unite, but like different MOBAs if you guys want to connect and play. I played with a few of our Patreon community. And obviously Justin plays as well when we have time. So that would be fun if you guys want to get together and jam. I enjoy it. It's just nice being slightly more coordinated. Let me see here. Oh, I didn't know they don't directly sell out of Europe. For Zin? That sucks. I'm sorry, man. Dial has a grayish tone. Diapau has a gray. I believe you. Always get the bracelet. Jason. Fact. Yo, Clank is great. Gage says, I'm excited to see it. Again, Monday evening. Like, right after work, I'm going to be doing that, which is exciting. You would probably really enjoy Blue Period on Netflix based on your... Yeah, so... Yeah, Justin's been obsessed with Blue Period and obviously Arcane, right? So, he was saying it was good. And I want to watch it. Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny. I'm just finishing up my round of... art with our guy, which I want to talk about more later. I was thinking it'd be fun to do a live stream showcasing various... I don't know how I want to accommodate this, but it'd be fun to do a live stream showcasing various altars we've had done. So I'm thinking I could probably get like pre-cut footage or just still images that I can put up on the screen for you guys to check out. And then obviously have the cards in person once we get this next round back. But I'd love to show some of the altars we've had done and obviously discuss it in the artistic qualities of what we've had done, but obviously maybe get you guys in touch with some of these artists in case you're interested in having art done. I know that despite Guazi's efforts to shut down the altar market, or just like with the amount of secret layers they're putting out and the amount of alternative arts they're putting out, it's like you can tell they're feeding on that audience, that interest in altar art. But I would love to share some of the people we've worked with in case you're interested in having altars done. It can be expensive, but if you feel like you're worth it, it's worth it. Yeah, this is so horrible. People ignore everything in these games. Yeah, you can't play team games on your cell phone and expect the best out of your teammates. And I'm sure, like, I don't want to make assumptions. Like, it could be a 12-year-old, it could be a 65-year-old. But if you're literally going to cut into my lane when I've established that I'm going to be in that lane, and we lose because of it, it annoys the life out of me, and it just doesn't logic right. Like, it's a team game. Like, even if we're not coordinated or playing via mic or whatever, there are, those social aspects that are built into the game where you can sort of denote what you're doing or what you'd like to be doing and ask for assistance when you need assistance, so on and so forth. Like, those are built into the game. Like, use those features. One, don't just spam like a dickhead just because you think it's funny. And then two, I mean, we're all hopefully trying to win at these games, so why not go with the flow and, in general, help your teammates out? Shocks me. All right. Can have people play roughly their roles? They think they know their... I'm an Alolan Ninetales or Wigglytuff main. Wigglytuff looks so legit. Like, I wanted to build a Wigglytuff. I was really in between doing that or... as a support, that or Mr. Mime, and I definitely gravitated towards Mr. Mime, which I'm glad I did. I think it's definitely my speed. Pokemon Unite, is it on mobile or desktop or Switch? Jason, it's on... I've never heard much of Unite. We'll check it. Yeah, so Unite is on Switch, I want to say originally, but it's far superior on mobile, and solely because it's just easier touching the screen where you want to take your actions, as opposed to using a control scheme, having to like do different button configurations to do the same thing. I found it's been much easier, and I'm fairly certain, at least from the few times I have played on Switch, that it's not allowing you to use the touchscreen to any capacity, despite the Switch having a touchscreen. So it's just easier on mobile. I wound up buying this phone because of the bigger screen. This iPhone 13, not to brag, but I bought it because I had a mini solely to play Unite on a slightly bigger screen, and it's great. It's been great on this screen. No endorsement of Apple there either. Like, if you just have a larger, like, Samsung smartphone, or I don't know what the other smartphones are, like the Google Pixel, any of that stuff, I'm sure it's perfectly fine for Pokemon Unite as well. You could do a showcase of a few altars before any live stream rather than dedicated stream in case not as much people like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because a lot of this, it's really dependent on the audience's interest and own participation. Like, if you guys want to involve yourselves more, you just have to comment. But obviously, the concept there would be to get just instant feedback from the viewing audience, but also to just discuss the concepts behind the art, because a lot of this is stuff that we've selected or requested, and so telling that story but also sharing the art as it's finalized, I thought would be really fun. And obviously, if you guys enjoy the work, share the contact of said artist so that you might be able to get the same work done. I'm thinking it'd be easy to just take images and then have it automated so I can just put those images out for you guys. Let me see here. Who's better, Tymna, Tana, or Corvold? That's a solid question and a perfect segue into this particular live stream. We can answer that. Is Corvold missing much by not having white? I would say it's missing a little bit, but I don't know that there are very many core white cards. Like, I can think of new to the game, Esper Sentinel, Silence obviously is core. Savine's Reclamation and a lot of strategies is king. But there aren't that many great white cards in the world. So is Corvold really missing much? Not really. I do think that Tymna is just a far superior draw engine. And by and large, she's easier to get out and work with, and depending on your deck composition, she can get more draw initially. Yes, Dockside, Corvold, it does things. I'm like, yes, I'm aware that you can draw a lot that way, but that's a very particular setup where Tymna by herself is just going to be drawing you cards. And I've seen a lot of people just like shoot themselves in the foot with Corvold. Like you get to that point where you just have a big dragon and you've sacrificed everything and it's not very good. It's not very pretty. I can, not to downplay Corvold, I've never lost to a Corvold. Let me put it that way. Which is neither good nor bad. Maybe I just haven't met a pilot for a Corvold that could handle my mono white decks. But I want to say it's a trickier list to play than just playing Tymna. Tymna with anything. But Tymna Tana, obviously you're in 4 colors, so you're in a pretty good place. I'm down for a full stream of you showing off. I'm always eyeballing your shelf. It's not even showing off, necessarily. I get what you mean, though. I get what you mean. Hey, happy to catch a live stream yet again. Matt P, thank you for joining. I went with the Samsung Ultra to play Unite and MTG Arena. Better, Gage. Still playing Pokemon Go. Damn, Jason. Try Unite. Try Unite. It's very fun. Like, the graphics for the game are really solid. It runs really well on my Boost mobile network. I'm surprised by that. It's super, super fun, though. Especially if you like Pokemon. Anyway, probably should begin now. Welcome back to the 99, where we're focused on brewing a better competitive commander. I'm your host, Patrick Marlatt, and this is Brew Master, where I work on the list of our Patreon community. And this time we have a list from Kenneth Olson. And Kenneth didn't really have anything in particular in mind outside of the fact that he was hoping for a competitive Tana and Tymna Tana, under $500. So I wrote down Tana and Tymna doing hot shit. That's all I said. What kind of hot shit? I don't know yet. So this is going to be a larger part of the discussion today. And obviously taking breaks in between to cut, I was going to say chaff, to cut good cards that are expensive, right? So we need to determine what is necessary, what is unnecessary. And also, when we're building this list, it's important to note $500, yes, but $500 from where? $500 of the best quality? Like, are we buying all near mint, or $500 of all the damaged shit? Or are we going to look in that middle range, right? And for me, personally speaking, I don't think it makes sense if you're already on a budget, like if you're trying to build something for sub $500, personally speaking, I buy damage. I buy the lowest, wherever I'm purchasing from. I'll buy the lowest quality or condition of card because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Once I double sleeve them, they'll shuffle all the same. They'll feel all the same. It's not going to make a big difference, a world of difference at all outside of the general aesthetic of the card. So as we do this deck, I'll be looking at the middle range for the price or even the low. Let's say the low range. It's going to give us as much overhead for our deck today. So on that note, the first thing I actually want to look at, not our 2 commanders, but what we're at now. Okay, so on the low end, this is telling me that we are 175 to 204. So that's not so bad. I would say we just say $200. We're at $200 right now. And obviously, this land base isn't optimized. We can talk about the land base after we talk about our commanders, but this is going to be really tricky to do today because a lot of this is going to be manipulating the price point, making sure that we're still under $500. So for me, I want to be under 500 low of the top end of low, right? So we're at 204. I don't know what's missing. All these cards are new. Like there's nothing from Innistrad. What am I saying? None of these cards are brand new, so they shouldn't be missing. We're going to say this is at 204. This land base isn't what you'd consider an optimal land base for competitive, but we can talk about why I made these selections in a few. Obviously, we're missing dual lands and fetch lands, like true duels, right? The OG duels. But let's talk about our 2 commanders and the kind of strategies we can employ with them before looking at our land base, because I think we're going to want to add as much of those core cards as possible, like your core tutors, your core fast mana, if we can, and then consider the win cons around that, because generally speaking, win cons in this game aren't overly expensive. Like, those aren't the expensive cards. But we'll get into that when we get to that. All right. Tana the Bloodsower. If you don't know Tymna Tana, Tana the Bloodsower. 2 generic, Gruul, legendary creature, elf, druid. Elf being potentially meaningful. 2/2 body, trample. Whenever Tana Bloodsower deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens. So, you know, these creatures don't come into play tapped or attacking. They're just there. They're just bodies. These are okay. I found that Tana Tvesh actually works really well as a partner pairing. Because obviously Tvesh can just take its turns eating the Saprolings. She can make Saprolings for Tvesh to eat. In this particular pairing, we just have bodies to throw around to draw cards off of Tymna, which is also very good. And then obviously we're also incorporating white in this scenario. It's almost like comparing Korvold to Tana and Tvesh in that previous example. But now with Tymna, we get to add white and obviously a pretty Lux ability. I think we all know what Tymna does, but 1 generic, Orzhov, legendary creature, human cleric, 2/2 body, lifelink. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may pay X life, where X is the number of opponents that were dealt combat damage this turn. If you drew, draw X cards. So, need to do combat damage. Our girl's got trample. She's a 2/2. I've always found Tana's stats to be a little off. Like, I'm aware that she makes Saprolings, but I'm also aware that she's a 4 CMC creature. It's always kind of irked me. Like, I feel like there's sort of an imbalance with her. She's fine. And generally speaking, when you see this pairing, I think people think of Blood Pod or think of a list that is trying to do some sort of birthing pod effect with a lot of stacks. And we can do that. But there's also a lot of speed enabled in these colors, right? Red and black in particular have all the rituals, and of course there's all that fast mana. We're under $500, so we can't go too crazy on our fast mana base. But generally speaking, when people see these two, they think of some form of stacks list. I don't necessarily want to go that route. Not necessarily. You could argue that it would be better because we don't have the efficiency or the most efficient lands and or, fast mana, all that stuff I just mentioned. But I do want to take this a more proactive route in the interest of playtesting. Plus, if you wanted to just devolve like a pod list down, you can. And also, we can still add Birthing Pod here if we want to add in some Birthing Pod combo. Even like Eldritch Evolution can be its own sort of combo piece for the deck. Like if we use Kiki-Jiki, right? Wouldn't Tymna go right into Kiki-Jiki? I think so. Yeah, just Kiki's 5, like 2 triple red. There could be some fun stuff there. Like if we just want to go for like a cheaper combo, creature-based combo, win on our turn. That could be something we do. But obviously, I want to take a moment to discuss all of our win con potentials right after our land base. So you'll notice that there is a series of lands from Kaldheim, the Pathway lands. I feel like if we're operating on a budget, and these are all sub $10 if I'm not mistaken, and if any aren't sub $10, then yeah, they're all relatively affordable. It's usually these Golgari ones or any that have blue in them that are expensive. So these are pretty effective for what you're getting, right? So you have options no matter what you have in your hand. And again, this land base is optimized for Tainted Pact because Tainted Pact is actually a good tutor. I'm going to call it a tutor. It's not necessarily a tutor. But these lands should be adequate for us, particularly because we're not running the fetch lands. The fetch lands would eat this deck alive price-wise. So we're not using the fetch lands. But despite that, you'll notice we're still using our shock lands. These are still really good. Like, you don't need to fetch these for these to be good. They're still appropriate dual lands. My thing is they're a little costly. Like a lot of these are costly now. And it actually shocks me. I've owned all these cards for a long time. So it was funny seeing the prices on some of these. Like they're all over $10 if I'm not mistaken. But outside of those, we have our Pain lands, right? And that's anything like Llanowar Waste. Whenever you tap it for a colored mana, you lose life. We should probably incorporate the Horizon lands as well. We should probably put the Horizon lands over our Pain lands, but that's something you can do in your own goddamn time because this is the land base I chose, incidentally. But you should probably go with those Horizon lands, which I think are completed at this point. I could be wrong. But yeah, we also have our Battle Bond lands. These are great duels because they work super effectively in a multiplayer format like Commander, right? So 2 or more opponents, always going to hit that mark, generally always. We also have Mana Confluence, City of Brass, and Command Tower as just general rainbow lands. These are also on the expensive side, but these are the best of the lot. And you can also go for things like Gemstone Mines, not Gemstone Caverns, Gemstone Mines, and other more affordable rainbow lands, but these ones are the best for all intents and purposes. I think that covers our land base. I've put singles of basics outside of planes because generally speaking, white pips are the least useful in decks. I think that covers everything though. I say that being a mono white enthusiast. That's everything. All right, I'm going to turn to you guys. Obviously, want to hear your thoughts on the kind of route we should take Tana and Tymna. I'll, of course, give you my thoughts on a general strategy, but the bulk of this deck building today is going to just be getting this under $500. Like, that is going to be the trickiest part. So if you have good alternatives to do the same or similar things in this list, let me know. Like, I definitely want to piece together what is the best means of like ramping a deck like this. Priest of Titania. I was just trying to see if they're expensive now. Like, again, our girl Tana is an elf, so like this is like a semi-decent way to generate green mana. And if we're using dorks, this is also just a very good way to get green mana. Obviously, we're not on Guy's Cradle, but yeah. All right. Corvo could be more explosive, but sacrificing a bit of versatility compared to Blood Pod. I don't know about damage. Heavily played for sure. I have a counterspell that is so near to dissolve. I don't think I can even take it out of the inner sleeve. Yeah, it's funny. I just don't. Yeah, Jason, personally, I just don't really care about the condition of the card anymore. Unless it's going into Oswald, I'll just buy whatever. Unless it's a new card and the card's like 25 cents for a brand new copy, then obviously, you know, get that. Like, it's not going to get much cheaper than that. But if it's just for me to play with at my leisure, I don't care. You know, it really doesn't matter. It's not like buying a damaged watch or something. Generally try to buy my watches brand new unless the model I want is purely vintage and it can no longer be obtained from the store. I usually buy like a new watch. There are things in life that deserve to be new, but Magic cards are not one of those things, in my opinion. Patrick, you need to click on the video so we can watch you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Which video? The watch video? Maybe later. Maybe that's something we can do. So, there's a lot of avenues of approach here. Obviously, the best... Okay, Trent says Snoop combo. Con Snoop. You can turn your Sapperling tokens from Eldritch Evolution to Conspicuous Snoop. There's something. Here's the thing about Conspicuous Snoop. I'm pretty sure that all of the combos with Snoop, you need to have haste. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all of the Snoop combos need haste. Or Snoop has, you know, needed to be on the field prior. Is there a new Dockside? How expensive is Dockside? Can we put Dockside in the list? Wow, Dockside's gone up. Okay. I actually also just want to see how expensive Mana Crypt is right now. Mana Crypt's still expensive. Gosh. I don't know if Mana Crypt's worth half our deck. Okay. You may cast Goblin spells from the top of your library. Cool. As long as the top card of your library is a Goblin card conspicuous of all the cards. Okay, cool. So, conceptually here, some of the things you can do. You can have Kiki-Jiki, right? Kiki-Jiki. Make I'm assuming we know what Kiki-Jiki is, but you make copies. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature. Well, guess what? Conspicuous Snoop is not legendary, right? So, uniquely, you can copy itself, and then those copies have haste. Ultimately, it devolves into going into something like Because again, remember, Conspicuous Snoop has all the abilities of the card on top of your library. You can do something like a Mog Fanatic, right? Sacrifice this, deals 1 damage to target creature or player, any target, right? So even if they're tapped, untapped, upside down, well, maybe not upside down, but upside down like this way, yes. Your opponents die. That's kind of cool. This is a very affordable combo, right? I think even Kiki Jiki is like sub $10. So we could definitely do Kiki Jiki, right? And Kiki is definitely 5. I'm just, didn't they, yeah, that one. I had one of these foil. I think I might have sold it. But getting one of these foil would be pretty dope too. I don't like how they cut out a signature though. Like, come on, show Pete Venner some love. Like, why'd you have to cut a signature out of this card? Pisses me off. You're also cutting off a lot of Kiki's hand. I don't know. This one's better. At any rate, that's the art you want. Champions of Kamigawa. Even if it means spending $4 more, I would still buy that over this one. So, are we going to do that? I would say that Underworld Breach is still... I mean, last I checked, it's pretty damn affordable. Yeah. All right, there you go. $6 for this, $6.67. And on the low end, who knows how much. Cheap. Super cheap. I think Grinding Station's probably expensive, though. But my theory being, why not do an Underworld Breach Grinding Station sort of deal? We're going to need more artifacts up in this deck, aren't we? That's something we can do. Or even just, it's going to be weird saying this, but like Underworld Breach for value. It could still be a value piece in this deck, despite it not generally being played for value. It's usually a rip-roaring combo card. Like, you should be winning on the spot when you do this, right? But it could just be there for that. I do think something like a Dual Caster Mage combo just being in there is fine. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing in the world, but Underworld Breach is definitely what you want to go for. It just thrives off of Demonic Tutor, you know, all of the tutors. Like, you definitely want all of the tutors in the deck. And I'm not sure we can slam all the tutors in the deck, right? Demonic's got to be like 50. Okay, there's a cheaper one. And, ooh, my favorite art. Is this a little mosquito? Is this a little mosquito in this space? So this is about $30 for the Mystery Booster copy. Definitely going to want that. It's cheap. Trent, yeah. You're right about the Con Snoop. It is cheap, Trent. I agree. It is cheap. It's not my favorite. Anything we could do with Breach here, it's pretty affordable. Dualcaster Twin Flame makes sense to me in my world. Underworld is less good without LED. LED, generally speaking, in my mind, like when you do Underworld Breach and you have Lion's Eye Diamond, yes, the mana is cool. Yes, the mana is super, super cool. I like the fact that it makes me discard my hand. Like, that's the best part about Lion's Eye Diamond in my book. The fact that I discard my hand. Because when I can turn that turn 1 Demonic Tutor into an LED, it means that translates, like from the Underworld Breach, that means it translates into the mana sufficient to do the next thing I need to do, but also dumps the, 3 or 4 cards I had in my hand at that moment, right? Sometimes more, sometimes less. It's the discarding the hand that's actually really useful here. Less so the mana fixing, because if you're doing a Grinding Station build for this, you could just recast the thing whilst milling yourself, right? So again, the trick here is that, in my mind, Underworld Breach is less good sans Mana Crypt if you're going to do the Grinding Station thing. Like, if you're doing Brain Freeze, none of this matters. Like, this is very, very secondary. But Mana Crypt is something that we can cast and produce generic mana with to roll into more plays while grinding ourselves and giving ourselves potential plays off the top of our deck. If you've never done Grinding Station, Underworld Breach, it's a different breed of play than, say, your Thassa's Oracle. You just Underworld Breach into a new solution. Generally speaking, it'll be something like either Flux Reservoir, but maybe you have another A+B combo baked into the list that can win on your turn, right? Or even off turn. I'm not sure how you're doing this off turn. Maybe you have Emergent Zone. We don't. But that's something you can do. I'm not entirely certain I want to do Underworld Breach, though, because we're going to be lacking a lot of the lower CMC artifacts that do make Underworld Breach thrive with Grinding Station. So that's actually a tricky include in my book. And there are other ways to self-mill and do other shenanigans. I don't know. Wasn't there... I'm trying to think if there's any new combos that are hyper-relevant for this list. Obviously, like, Witherbloom Apprentice is fine. like the Witherbloom Chain of Smog sort of deal, right? 12 cents for this card. So Witherbloom Chain of Smog, right? Magecraft is just whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, right? Yeah, it says it right there. Well, look at that. This card, target yourself, keep discarding your hand. You don't need to have cards to discard to do this. You can just keep targeting yourself with this. Remember, this card bumped up a lot when Witherbloom Apprentice came out. But this is something we can do that's cheaper, that's A plus B, and is very easy to incorporate in the list. Is this amazing? It's fine. I do want to solidify what our combo A is and then combo B is, right? And for Witherbloom Apprentice, it's not like there's a backup to this line. It's very much self-composed. It's its own thing. We don't need Chain of Smog outside of Witherbloom Apprentice, and we certainly don't need Witherbloom Apprentice outside of Chain of Smog. No offense to Witherbloom Apprentice. Although Witherbloom Apprentice could work with, again, if we had like Grinding Station, Mana Crypts, Underworld Breach, like we could just keep. This doesn't even work. You want the brain freeze, right? Witherbloom Apprentice. It's okay. I'm taking my watch off for now, if you're wondering. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. These prices. European seems lower in general, but not about euro to dollar difference. Tutors are cheaper for Snoop, Matron, and all that. Yeah, you could do. I like that. Is Conspicuous Snoop something that's seen? I've never seen anyone play for Conspicuous Snoop. I think one of our Discordians does. But I've never done this. If it's something we want to do, it's something we can do. But it's a lot of cards in the body of the deck that are just otherwise kind of useless. And it's weird because what do you do when the card need is in your hand? Like, there's a lot of issues you need to resolve with Conspicuous Snoop that you just wouldn't have with something like a Witherbloom Chain of Smog situation. Like, that's still a fine situation to be in, I think. Breach, Culling the Weak, and Stitcher Supplier. That is another way to make black mana go through your deck, right? That's not bad. I bought maybe 3 mystery boosters and got a crypt. Well, congratulations, one. I bought like a box and didn't get anything, so congratulations. Nothing. Like, I think Carpet of Flowers is the most expensive card I got, which was super sad. Is an Emergent Zone expensive? No, but it's not necessary. And I wouldn't say that Emergent Zone is great in a list that's sub 500, because there's not that many great things for you to be doing off turn. I hate to say it. So here's my last point for Snoop. It already has Kiki, so you can layer another combo with a new pirate. What's the name of the pirate? Or that other dude that steals and untaps the Zealous Conscripts. Okay. I play Snoop and Kiki in my Krenko deck. That is mono red, though. I gotta say. I just want to say right off the bat that that's mono red. So obviously you're going to go with a mono red combo. We're in 4 colors. Like, I feel like there's got to be better things to do. Maybe run a Razaketh package. Yeah, that makes sense. Matron gets Recruiter, and you stack the combo on top. And Goblin Recruiter, if you guys don't know, it's the one that lets you just get... You get any goblins from your deck and put them on top in any order. It's kind of a cool card. I'm surprised this card isn't expensive. It sort of plays to my point. Like, how many people are in Snoop combo outside of our mono red friends? Yeah, I stack the combo and then someone plows my lands on top or makes me shuffle. Damn. Sorry about that. Pirate does same as Zealous. I believe you. It's a gain control effect, right? I would need to see the card to know which pirate we're discussing. Met you guys at Command Fest DC 2 years ago. Didn't get to play a game with you guys. Planning on going to any events once they start up. Joseph G. Maybe. I would love to. It really depends on the timing of these events. If it's like over a weekend, then yeah, I think that was something we'd probably make time for. That I would want. Win conless stacks. No, damn it. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to plug in the win cons we want. Are we really desperate for the Snoop line? There's other A plus B combos. There's other things to do. You see what you have to go through when you don't play a deck that just has a card that says win the game? You see the kind of internal struggle. So we're all stating that Kiki-Jiki is something we want, right? It sounds like Kiki-Jiki is like our go-to. Because Kiki-Jiki kind of just wins with a lot of cards. It doesn't have to be Snoop. Like, I don't... In what world am I really desperate to get the conspicuous Snoop out? If that's what we... Fine. Is that what we want? Is that what we want? Conspicuous Snoop. At least make it the freaking full art. Foil it, sure. Okay. I forgot to select the right copy of Kiki-Jiki, but whatever. Oh my god. Mug Fanatic. Yeah, you probably want Goblin Matron and Imperial Recruiter. Let me look at the prices of Imperial Recruiter really quick. And we also want Goblin Recruiter. Again, I don't know if this is something I personally agree with is the best combo for this deck, but I do think it's a fun way to play a sub $500 Tana Tymna. What did I just say? Imperial Recruiter. That other guy. Oh, God. Also, mind you, we've got a lot of, like, we don't need all these bodies. They're useful, though, mind you, to have to just sacrifice and do things. So in this list, I can see us using Imperial Recruiter. Again, like, it's one of those cards that you generally omit in a 4-colored list because there are better things to be doing. But again, in oh, whoa, what is this? I forgot this was a card. That's cool. Again, sub 500, I'm sure Imperial Recruiter makes a great deal of sense. Again, it's just like Diabolic Intent fodder, right? And Diabolic Intent is how much? Let's find out. Oh my gosh, Diabolic Intent. Oh my gosh. We might have to cut some of them fancy lands to just put tutors in our deck. Wow. Yeah, that's expensive. Okay, so yeah, what conspicuous Snoop lines do you want? I mean, I put one thing in here, but the other things can be Kiki-Jiki, Combat Celebrant, Zealous Conscripts, Kiki-Jiki. What is the general pod line? You get your Angel Karmic Guide. Wait, oh my god. I've not had to think about Kiki lines in a minute. Return to the target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wasn't there a cute one where you could you do like a sack outlet with Kiki-Jiki and Karmic Guide? God, that sounds awful. Sounds awful. We're in 4 colors, damn it. There are better things. There are better things. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh god. Like there's Sun Titan stuff. There's a lot of sack outlet stuff. God, I only use Lesser Masticore and Oswald because I have to, okay? you don't play for combos like this if you don't have to. Although the art's kind of cool. I'll give it that. I like this art. Alan Williams. Great job on this art. Okay. Agreed, Kiki is a good idea. I'd rather have something more colorful. Win-conless stacks and Golgari. No, God. We have Village Bellringer, Tower Scout for Kiki. Village Bellringer is kind of cool. Like, there's other stuff to do with Village Bellringer. It just makes our dorks and any sort of creatures that tap for value even better, right? And those are cheap. Kiki, Karmic, Philidar, honestly like the idea of pod stuff. Okay. And now, Razaketh is still being chanted. I do think that a reanimate Razaketh idea isn't the worst idea. Only because... Well, isn't Razaketh really expensive right now? Hold up. Oh my gosh. He's not like overly expensive, but $20 for a win con, or he's not really a win con. It's a reanimate target that sets up a win con, right? And we are playing Tana Tymna, so we should have a lot of bodies. Man, I kind of like the idea of having Razaketh because you could set up... I mean, one of my favorite things to do with him is to set up a Leonin Relic Order line, right? If you've never seen this, Leonin Relic Order and Razaketh are best friends, especially when you use something like Animate Dead to bring back Razaketh. because you can exile the animate dead, right? And then bring it back with Leonin Relic Water once you've sacrificed Leonin Relic Water to Razaketh, and then find up the solutions you need to win on the spot. So the next step is how much is Entomb. This is such a weird... Oh my god. Why are these expensive? Why? How? Oh, $500 is not enough. God. Okay, Reanimate is... Okay. I feel like Razaketh is a $40 package minimum. It is a $40 package that can help us set up a win worthy. Say it. Yay or nay to Razaketh. Yay or nay to Razaketh, and then we'll consider putting in the cards necessary for Razaketh. I wasn't contemplating any sort of reanimate strategy here, but Razaketh is the preeminent reanimate strategy. It's like, it's the thing you do if you're going to reanimate, so I can understand. I remember when we Recruiter was well out of budget. Yeah, when it was just the one Recruiter. Eladamri's Call, Felidar Guardian. Oh yeah, Felidar. There is that Selesnya unicorn you like before that blinks as a different win con. MEL is fine. MEL is good. MEL is generally something that you want to do with your pal Dockside. Right? Or it's like infinite mana with an ETBer that does something, right? That's also good. I think that's expensive jumpstart, isn't it? It's a little expensive. I think MEL is just a little expensive. So Tiger says yay to Razaketh. I see you, Tiger. I see you. Okay, let's just here. I'm generally speaking interested in having Razaketh here with Dance of the Dead, Animate Dead, Entomb, Leonin Relic Water. Right? Okay. That's 43 cards. So we've gotten a Snoop line. We've gotten Kiki-Jiki. I do think that we need to add one combo card with Kiki-Jiki. And it could literally just be any untapper. But what I want to do is find a creature that untaps that is the best. I really don't know these creatures anymore. Someone said Village Bellringer, but I don't know what kind of package I want for the untapper. Do I want it to be a more expensive card like Village Bellringer? It's not expensive, the card itself. The CMC is high. Or do I just want some basic untapped target creature on ETB sort of deal? Right? Because that might be enough. That might be enough. So let me look at these really quick. Oh my god. Yeah, which is the cheapest one is really what I'm driving at. CMC wise. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Each opponent loses 1 life. Siege Zombie. You were so close to being good. You were so close to being interesting, Siege Zombie. You just missed the mark. Yeah, wow. Is really Village Bellringer like the one? There's also like a Goblin Sharpshooter thing. It's a pain in the ass to set up and even worse to explain, but it's a thing. God, what is that? Mana Leech. No. This is tougher than I thought. Oh, we got Max. We got Max, people. Second spell each turn. Yeah, yep, that sucks. Village Bellringer. Village Bellringer. Wow, buddy. You are the one. I think Village Bellringer's fine. Why not? I can't, in my heart of hearts, I feel like I must have glazed over something that was better. But I can't think of it, so Village Bellringer it is. Alright, so we've got 2 Kiki combos. Like, again, you can also do, like, Combat Celebrant or go for, like, a Combat one. Is Combat Celebrant a bad idea? It's not like we get 2 activations on Tymna, though, right? Post-combat main phase? At the beginning of your post-combat main phase? This only gives you, after this phase, there's additional combat phase. It's not like you get additional main phase. It's also kind of expensive. Damn, dude. Alright. So, like a Razaketh deck, Probably no life death at that point. You could definitely do life death. Life death is it's an interesting card because it's equally there for the reanimate. It's equally there for the reanimate as it is for making your lands creatures. Excuse me. We could use life death. It's rather inexpensive. It's usually best in a world where you can do the thing quickly. And again, we are lacking certain cards to make this go quickly, but we can use life death just for value. In my mind, the better reanimate spell for Razaketh is the Animate Dead, because in doing so, you are setting yourself up for a line of play that lets you tutor, I would say indefinitely, but life is a limitation, right? So once you have Lean and Relic Warder with the Animate Dead, you can tutor up for as much life as you have, and then find every solution you need, right? So the quickest solution in this deck, the way we have it slated, is either Kiki Jiki via Conspicuous Snoop, Kiki Jiki, and these are all Kiki Jiki, by the way. These are all Kiki Jiki. Kiki Jiki Village Bell Ringer, and Kiki Jiki. What else do we have? There was something else. There was something else. I don't remember. But Razaketh is here to set all that up. Damn, that's a lot of work, Razaketh. Razaketh can't pull that much weight. We don't have the fast mana for Razaketh to pull that weight. We need something cheaper. We need something cheaper in here. Dual caster should just be in the deck because it's a good value piece. But I do think that it with Twin Flame is also going to be very good. And like, obviously including something like Dockside opens some more doors for us, but Dockside is very expensive. Dockside is very expensive, people. It's a separate package for a separate deck. I'm just curious as to how expensive the list is right now. Okay, we are looking at low, remember, but I'm looking at the top end of low. We are over the half limit mark. We're over $250 to our 500. We're $275. That's up there. We do have room for Dockside. You know what? Okay, so if Dockside's $50, then Dockside Extortionist is $50, because Dockside will open up a new line of play with It'll open up a new line of play with Eternal Witness and Twin Flame. It'll open up a new line of play with our... We don't have any other combo for him, I don't think. But Eternal Witness, Twin Flame, Dockside is good. Dockside is just generally good. But it's also a good form of ramp to get the ball rolling after a Razaketh play. But Dockside Extortion all happens to be Goblin. Like, that doesn't really matter. But we do have Goblin Matron and other things to find it. So if we are not even interested in setting up the Snoop line, we might have just a good way, or a handful of good ways to get... There is like that mosquito in the room. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I feel like I'm getting bit here. Okay. Separate problem. Separate problem I'm dealing with. You guys mentioned MEL, but it's not like we have... That's just infinite mana, right? And who gives a shit about infinite mana? But if we do Dockside Extortionist, if we do it, then a world of possibilities is open with a little card called Underworld Breach, right? Underworld Breach, Grinding Station, Dockside is actually quite good. Which makes me think that we should probably... Oh my god. I don't want to do like Impact Tremors sort of shenanigans. I don't mind like the Goblin Bombardment lines of play, but I feel like that is something that we should definitely set up for, though, right? Like, we should be setting up... Because Goblin Bombardment works with Lean and Relic Warder Animate Dead. Goblin Bombardment would also work with infinite creatures. So even if we just did a thing to make infinite bodies, we could sacrifice those infinite bodies. I don't hate this. Like, I really don't hate this. Like, this seems better. It's also very cheap to do. And mind you, you can also put Blasting Station in for the same effect as well, if you just want to sacrifice creatures to kill things. This is a little bit more expensive, but let me put Goblin Bombardment in. I can't help but feel that we have one too many cooks in the kitchen so far as our win cons are concerned. But we'll tease that out. We'll tease that out. Okay. Just all that good stuff. Go for Village Bellringer. Listen to the dark side of the Force. Hey, Kevin. I guess I will then. I think the only cheaper untappers are the Scrib Ranger and stuff like that when they have activated abilities. Mayhem Devil is an outlet for Lean and Animate Dead. You are right. You are right, Tiger. So it really okay. You know what's interesting? Like, I see Mayhem Devil get a lot of love in the community, but I don't ever play it. I know it's sort of like a go-to thing in Corvold. But whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals 1 damage to any target. So what's cool about this is it stops your opponents from benefiting too greatly off of sacrificing their own permanents, right? Because when that happens, you get to do the thing that this reads. So it's kind of a good deterrent in certain situations, but it's also kind of a decent win con. In much the same way a win con like Goblin Bombardment, but Goblin Bombardment's cheaper and works with a few other things in our deck, right? So we don't necessarily need to rely on our combat step. Like if there was a way, I don't know why we would reverberate someone's own Heat Shimmer or duplicating effect and cast our Dual Caster Mage off turn with a Goblin Bombardment on the battlefield. Like that's one way we can do it. I don't see that being a thing ever. I have won games by forking another duplication spell and copying it repeatedly with something with Magecraft, right? Archmage Emeritus. I stole Justin's Archmage Emeritus and did that very thing to draw my deck, and just mess everyone's life. That was fun. It's $1.46. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so at this point, I think we really should start incorporating things like Soul Ring. And just Soul Ring. All right, what are everyone's favorite dorks? Everyone's favorite dorks. Deathrite Shaman. Oh, let's do Esper Sentinel. Let's see if Esper Sentinel makes sense. I mean, price-wise, it definitely makes sense. Dark Confidant. Sylvan Library? How much are these cards? I really don't know. I just hope that we're under budget once we're done punching in core cards. But I want mana, people. Give me things like Birds of Paradise. Give me them. Give me them. Birds of Paradise. Your favorite dorks. Go. Okay, so this makes sense in my book. The Llanowar Elves, fine. Horde Elves. Because we're in 4 colors, I feel like we need the one that generates white. Oh my god, what's his name? The dude, the Pilgrim. Avacyn's Pilgrim. Avacyn's Pilgrim. And then we also need the the one that generates black. Elves of Deep Shadow. Elves of Deep Shadow. Does Recruiter of the Guard get Kiki and Dockside? Recruiter of the Guard. Oh. Recruiter of the Guard's expensive. Is she not? The Recruiter of the Guard's $25. This is how desperate white is for a tutor. That this card is $25. That is mind-boggling. I do want to see how much Enlightened Tutor is, though. Just out of curiosity. That's really not that bad. Okay, well, actually, that's a gold border. We can play gold border. Kitchen table, baby. I like that the list got the Mirage version of the card. Up to you, Enlightened Tutor. But no, dorks. Ignoble Hierarch is like $5. Jeez. I like it though. I like Ignoble Hierarch. It's one of the better dorks to have come out in recent dates. So yes. Dockside might be worth it though. All the tutors hits. Yeah. No, Trent. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just so damn expensive. I think it's going to be the most expensive thing in the deck. Who would have thought a thing that generated a disproportionate amount of mana would be good, right? Isn't that crazy? Who would have thought that would be the case? Elves of Deep, yes. How much is Deathrite? I don't know, but we're gonna have to check after the fact. Deathrite's probably expensive. Elvish Mystic makes sense. Do you guys want a Priest of Titania? Like, I looked at her a second ago. She's just a couple of bucks. I think it makes sense Collector Oof, since we're a very... Yeah, man. Collector Oof and the Null Rod we can't afford. Oh, hey, Silent... The White Enchantment. Oh my god. Cards I haven't played in a while for 500. What it... It's not silent. No. What... The White Enchantment that does the same thing. Artifacts can't activate. Stony Silence. Stony Silence. I like those. Yes, like we can use those for stacks, but I don't want to go 2 stacks heavy, right? Although all of our combos are creature based. I just want to state, so something like Deafening Silence also isn't bad, and also just the card Silence isn't bad. Anything with silence in it is generally good. At least, you know, WotC's been consistent with that. Negadryad. You mean the... I think you know what you mean. Deathrite is $8. God. Wild Canter. Oh, Tinderwall is my bitch. Tinderwall. Tinderwall is amazing. And we should also incorporate Rite of Flame. Not that we're on rituals at this moment, but are the Spirit Guides expensive? Because I feel like we should probably go with them, right? And also... We could probably go with the Jeweled Lotus. We could probably go with... Oh my god, is Jeweled Lotus expensive? We'd probably go with the Jeweled Amulets, right? Probably go with the Jeweled Amulet. Oh my god, if I can spell. Jeweled Lotus. Remember when they printed this card and everyone lost their shit? $80? Not worth it. I would rather have the Mana Crypt before this. Spend double that and have the Mana Crypt, but that's not... I think we're going to do. Razaketh is my favorite dork. Yeah, I agree. Exalted isn't even so bad for Tymna. No, it's not. You talk about the Ignoble. True. Simian Spirit Guide, yes. Simian is not expensive with a reprint, isn't it? Both Spirit Guides, yes. Thank you. Stony Silence. Thank you. Deafening Silence. Stony. Tell him what he's won, people. Oh my god, please. What did I get? For 500? I think this Green Spirit Guide is high these days. I believe you're right because she hasn't had a reprint in a good while, but we'll see, and then we'll circle back and determine if it's something we want. I think the Green Spirit Guide is high. Skirk Prospector and Dark Ritual. I'm gonna agree with the Dark Ritual. Like the Blood Pet in the Skirk Prospector. Do you guys like that form of ramp? I mean It's a piggy bank ramp, but it's not bad. Like if this is your first play in a lower CMC deck, I don't think that's so bad because it gets the ball rolling on Tymna and Tana that much quicker. And again, same idea with Blood Pet. That's fine. We can start looking at rituals now. I did add Rite of Flame and Dark Ritual. I don't know if we want to go into Cabal, Pyretic, that kind of territory. We might actually want like the 3 visits, those cards first. I know it's odd to say, but sometimes that ramp is is crop rotation inexpensive? At least crop rotation's color fixing, right? But there are cards that let us... crop rotation's not that expensive. Yeah, let's just do crop rotation. It's just odd color fixing off turn. I say odd. It's just a good card. I think crop rotation's a good card. But I do want to give ourselves... maybe not a 3 visits... Harrow's only basics, right? Harrow would be useful. Harrow would be useful ramp, and it would get our basics out of our list, right? But it's not... okay, so I do want to give ourselves other alternative forms of ramp that are permanent. I don't think rituals are going to be... I don't think rituals are going to behoove us so much here. I do think Culling the Weak, though, makes sense. I think Infernal Plunge makes sense. When we're going for the wind... bearing in mind that our combo cards are red, right? So Infernal Plunge makes sense. Black to get the ball rolling on our animate, reanimate strategies, right? So Culling the Weak makes sense. Maybe Cabal Ritual makes sense. Is Culling... okay, is Culling Ritual out of the question? $3 291. Is this out of the question? Destroy each non-land permanent. I feel like we're going to be in a pretty safe spot with our 2 commanders. Obviously, we're destroying all of our dorks, but this is actually a good way to get the ball rolling on our game plan. Once we've tapped our dorks, just nuke them and then, you know, get things rolling. That's not so bad. And, like, the Village Bellringer doesn't die, right? So if this is just us ramping into casting Kiki, despite the fact that it's still triple red, it's not bad. Like, Culling Ritual can get us where we need to go, but it is rather expensive. It's a good way to hard cast a Razaketh from your hand, let me tell you that. Okay, so something like this is more within the realm of possibility in my mind than like something like Jessica's Will. This is just a more expensive card these days. Let's do Culling Ritual. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I like the idea of it. And let me save this really quick. We need to add tutors, and we need to add removal. Okay. Elvish is like 10 to 20 bucks. Simeon's like 25 cents. Wow. Is Jewel Lotus expensive? It is. Culling Ritual. Yeah, yes, Gage. I think that's so funny. I wasn't even looking at the chat, but yes. Justice Will's a little expensive. I'd say Skirk just cause lots of goblins. Maybe pass on Blood Pet. We'll see how it pans out. I think we've got space for both. Space enough for both. But what goblins would you really want to sacrifice? All of them. All of them. Just the Skirk, really. It's probably not best, but I have to give a shout out for Cadaverous Bloom. Oh. I think Cadaverous Bloom has good art. I could say that. That's such a cool card. I'm surprised it's 12 bucks. It's only because it's reserved, but I've always loved the art of Cadaverous Bloom. Always loved this art. Yeah. Thank you for the shout out. I'm going to refrain from that one though, MTG. Culling Ritual into Finale of Devastation. Yeah, we should probably look at our tutor suite now. I'm just crossing my fingers that Demonic Tutor and Diabolic Intent can make their way into this deck. Those two, right? That seems fairly obvious. Enlightened Tutor's expensive. What other tutors fit their way into this deck and make sense for this deck? Go. Razaketh is one, obviously. Tutors are difficult. Like, we don't really have... None of them are inexpensive. Gamble? That's... Like, Vampiric Tutor is probably too expensive for us. I want to say that this is too expensive. 40... Yeah, it's too expensive. This is too expensive. Altar of Bone... Wishclaw Talisman is going to be cheap enough. I do think that Altar of Bone is just a... Let's do Eladamri's Call first, and then see about Altar of Bone. It's just another way you sacrifice a creature to find a creature at sorcery speed. But I'm a little iffy on that one. Worldly Tutor is also probably expensive at this point, right? Even if it's over... It's just a little too expensive. I really like Worldly Tutor, though. Again, Worldly Tutor is so important for our list. Well, let's try it. Court of Calling. Yeah. We should probably look at the Eldritch Evolution, right? Finale of Devastation. These were all called out a second ago. But on your last one, Trent... Court of Calling, is this card expensive? Actually, didn't it just get a promo reprint? It's not like it's used in a lot of lists. I do like this promo reprint a lot. I like this one a lot. I don't own this yet. I should get a copy of that. Just thinking about stuff I want to buy. Yeah, Court of Calling makes sense. Court of Calling makes sense. I don't know where we're at price-wise. Let me just state, I don't know where we're at. But I do want to add a removal suite. So what stops this list from doing what it wants to do? Right? We'll start there. Obviously, something like Deflecting Swat is probably just too much. Whoa, yeah, $40. Damn, man. Okay. I love Fire Covenant, though. Yeah, I like this original art a lot better, too. So why don't we do, like, Fire Covenant for some removal? This is just a great way to clear the field of any blockers that might be in Tymna's way. But it's also just a good way to clear value. But Fire Covenant's great. I do think that we should probably go for some creature removal in the off chance that there is something like a Linvala, Keeper of Silence, because that does stop our general game plan, right? Both Razaketh and Kiki-Jiki. We want to be able to do those things. So more creature removal makes sense, like Swords to Plowshare. We'll turn to white for at least one thing. And there's a ton of options so far as that art is concerned now. Finale is like $30. Oh my god. Would you quit? Is Finale of Devastation that much now? I should sell a copy. I have like 3 copies of this. Oh my god. Yeah, we need to cut Finale of Devastation. I'm gonna... Yeah, you gotta... Yeah. It's just... It's too expensive. I budged for Worldly Tutor because Worldly Tutor is... It's not superior, but it is better at getting the ball rolling early game, right? And it's cheaper. So, wow, that's crazy. Okay, thank you for checking the price on that, Tiger. Don't say we're over budget yet. Please, don't say we're over budget yet. Nature's Claim, Red Elemental Blast. Yo, Red Pyro. Red, you just set them up. Those are the magic words right there. Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast. Those are the most important cards in any arsenal outside of blue. Nature's Claim, maybe. I don't know how... Okay. I'll do a Natural State, because I just want to promote this card every chance I get. This is my preferred piece of removal in the 1 CMC slot. Is the Ass Trophy worth it, boys and girls? Is the Ass Trophy worth it? Generally speaking, yes. Let's see if it fits. Let's see if it fits. Fire Covenant, Deadly Rollick, I'm not sure is going to fit our budget. Give me 1 second. It's probably on the lower end. Like, it's going to be less than Deflecting Swat, right? But that's still a lot for removal. Like, Assassin's Trophy in my mind, at 1188, like, this is worth it. This is a really good card. Despite it not being free, it's a very good card. And we're heavy on dorks, so it's not like we're not within the realm of casting this. I also want to state that we should probably modify our land base to have more green elements, because this is a very green heavy list. Green and red, I feel like, are premium colors, and we'll see. I'll have to go back and check the deck list on this. I recently made Ravo's Tana deck, so looking forward to comparing deck list. Bearing in mind, this is sub $500, so if yours isn't within that realm, I'm curious to see how they do match up. Prismatic Ending. How much is Veil of Summer? Veil of Summer is like... Veil of Summer foil. You want to see how much a Veil of Summer foil is? It's expensive. $7 for this card, people. My god. I also put Silence in the list. I do want to state that Silence is in the list. So... And this is probably... Wow, it's even less than Veil of Summer. Like, the fact that you draw a card... I mean, I want Veil of Summer. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the... It's just premium. It's just premium. For 1 green, it's one of the most primo cards you can put in a deck. Autumn's Veil is like 50 cents. Ass Trophy is doing everything you would ever want to remove for 2 mana value. Fact. Undergrowth Stadium is as a land if you don't have $8 Battlebond land. We do have Undergrowth Stadium. What I want to add are our Horizon lands, right? Or Canopy lands. Whatever you want to call them. We need to add those. Like, those are the ones that I definitely neglected that are a must include. I also want to state that despite us not having fetch lands, we might need to modify our land base such that we have more basics by way of snow basics and such. Like we might need to take out a whole subset of duels to just incorporate cheaper lands. Like I don't like doing that, but we've got a lot of premium cards that we need to include. So I say need. Need is relative. We should include. So we have 3 more slots here, and this is tough. What are the cards that you feel are best in 4 colors? Specifically 4 color sans blue. What are some cards that you feel that we've neglected? There's a link in the description to this deck if you're following along that you feel we should add to this deck that will hopefully seat us under that $500 budget. Remember, we're looking at TCG low, link in the description, because you can find really good deals on TCG. This is not a promo right now, but generally speaking, if you're trying to spec out a list, the cheaper cards will be on there. This is tough. Canopies are up there now. Are they? Is like a Horizon Canopy expensive? Wow. Yeah, they are expensive, aren't they? Drawing cards is a good thing. Nurturing Peatland Golgari one I think is pretty cheap. We've got Abrupt Decay in the list already. All right, so far as I'm concerned, I think something like Tybalt's Trickery could be good, right? Tybalt's Trickery could be good. That's cheap. Let's do that. Tybalt's Trickery. I also want to consider a Reverberate, if not Fork, because Fork is rather expensive. Fork is rather expensive. Yeah. Okay. So Reverberate, because this is going to give us the potential of copying premium tutors from our opponents, right? So Reverberate makes a great deal of sense to me. I do think we don't have a self-mill strategy, so there's really no point in doing like a Praetor's Grasp, although Praetor's Grasp is kind of expensive anyways, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You know what I would really love? Man, I would really love Noxious Revival, but I feel like Noxious is kind of expensive. Man, this card needs a reprint. Like, uncommons should never be $12 or $11 in this instance. I do think Carpet of Flowers is also something that we should contemplate. Whoa, okay. That's expensive. I also put Sylvan Library in the list already, but Sylvan Library is also rather expensive. My God. Yeah, I think we're going to have to cut that, potentially. I don't like saying that, but we do need draw utilities. So, what other draw utilities? And remember, Tymna, she's draw utility, right? So, we don't need to think too hard on this. God. Vanishing Versus removal and Vexing Shusher for protection. I forgot the name, but Dark Confidant on an enchantment. Dark Confidant on an enchantment. Dark Tutelage. I think Dark Tutelage is fine. This might put us at 100 cards. So we'll stop here and we'll see what our price is at right now. So nervous for it. Okay. We are definitely over the top end of this. I said I wanted to be TCG low, whatever the top end average was. Okay, so let's look at the deck. Let's look at the deck. I think the most cost reduction can come from our land base. What's this going to do? Is that going to stack it? Yeah. Let's remove this. Okay, so... Oh, God. Okay. So, of our duels, I'm going to have to make some assumptions here. But I think that if we took away the shock lands, our price might decline by quite a bit. Like Sacred Foundry is not. Let me just see what we're at when we do this. We actually might need to, it might calculate our sideboard in the price total. So we might need to remove our sideboard. But mind you, we took out 6 lands here, right? So let me look at this right quick. I think more basics might behoove us. But also because we're not on Tainted Pack, a mistake I'll never make again. We probably want more green than anything. Let me see here. So on the outer ring card cost, right, I'm looking here. We've got, like I said, almost an equal mix of red and green. Black and white are on the low end, right? So if we're going to double down on any lands, did it change the price? No, it did not. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We're going to eliminate these shock lands. I feel like those are the more expensive of the lot. Just taking a guess. Like, these pathway lands are not very expensive. Obviously, our rainbow lands are expensive, but the rainbow lands are a must. I know this deck isn't finalized, but that puts us damn near 500 on the top end. But again, we do need to increase our land base, right? So, like, because we're not on... Sorry, Tainted Pack, it doesn't matter to me what this land base looks like. I just want to have more forest and mountains. Swamps, we can add one more, and maybe we can add one plains. Let me do this really quick. I want to have at least 30 lands in this deck, so we'll add one basic plains. I don't... Genuinely speaking, I don't think that's necessary, but as sad as that is. But we'll see. So, let's do that. Okay, land base, settled. We do need to cut a little bit more, though. So, I believe we can organize this by dollar value. So, I want to do type and then cost. Converted cost. Wait up. Not converted cost. Price, there we go. TCG high. So... What, are the most expensive cards up here? Is that true? Is it? What's going on? Is that what this is? I'm so confused. I would imagine that it means that these are the expensive cards. Actually, you know what's going to tell us? Yeah. What? I don't buy this. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Chaos cards? What's chaos cards? More than $100. More than $100? More than $100? $5 to $20? $20 to $100. What is it talking about more than $100? What? I'm so confused by this organization. All right, sorry. Are you running crypto? Let's write. No, I am not. Dark Tutelage, yep, Knight's Whisper, Compost, Painseer. It's a bad Dark Confidant. You could. Are you running Cryptolith right? No. Swap Selesnya, Rakdos, and Gruul Battle Bond lands for shocks. The shocks are cheaper. Are the shocks cheaper? Are the shocks cheaper than these? Yeah, basic planes. You would definitely need to proxy that. If the shocks are cheaper than these, then yes, that makes sense. It's weird to me. I don't see... This is not accurate. Let me just do average price. Maybe this will be better. $20 to $100. So we just want to cut some cards that are clearly too expensive. Entomb, man. Entomb, dude. Entomb is our only way of putting Razaketh in the bin. Do I have Leon in Relic Order? Yeah, I do. Tiger, what are the... I'm sorry, what... Luxury Suite is most expensive Battle Bond land? Blood Crypt's most expensive Shock land? Hold up. Where was your list? Swap Selesnya, Rakdos, and Gruul. 1 second. Selesnya, Rakdos, and Gruul. Let's, if this is fact, then I want to just see what our price is afterwards. So Selesnya, Rakdos, and Gruul. So Selesnya. I'm looking for the Selesnya one. Selesnya. I don't see Luxury Suite. There it is. Rakdos, and Gruul. So it'd be Stomping Ground, one second, Blood Crypt, and what am I looking at? Temple Garden. Is Battlefield Promenade really expensive? Wow, no shit. Okay, wow, okay. Let's see if this changes things, because I gotta tell you, I don't really want to cut those cards. Temple Garden. What was the last one? I just did this. And I need to do Spire Garden. Stomping Grounds. Okay. A Stomping Ground. Pardonnez-moi. Okay, we're $29 away. That helped a lot. Thank you. That helped a lot. Okay, so Final Parting seems like a good replacement for Entomb price-wise. Okay, so Final Parting is just a little high costed. Give me 1 second. There's really no place like Entomb. There's really no card like Entomb. It's anything, right? But is Entomb really value added here? It's really just for Razaketh. I want to state that Entomb is solely there for Razaketh in this list. In a list that did incorporate Underworld Breach was leaning heavily on that. It would care more about Entomb because Entomb literally plants anything. I would argue that Buried Alive is the better option here. Let's just do Buried Alive. I hate to say it, but that might actually put us where we need to be. I feel like we're gonna have to do one more cut. Let me see here. $13 of cut. Okay, so we're on Abrupt Decay already. If we took out Assas Trophy, I would want to put in another solution for... We did suggest Vanishing Verse. I just want to see what the price is. I almost like Fracture a little bit better, but I'm not really high on either. Gerard's Command. Buried Alive. Drop Dance of the Dead. Is Dance of the Dead expensive? You like the two artifacts we have? Is Dance of the Dead expensive? Not expensive enough, and we gotta keep Sylvan Library. I'm sorry. Like, that is up there. That is up there for me. That is some dope Swords to Plowshare art. Why didn't I see this? I love that. That is so good. Alright. Harrow. I get you on the ass. My issue is that dropping the ass doesn't put us below. I'm trying to cut one more card. Dropping Diabolic doesn't... That hurts. Gamble it... Hold up. It might be Gamble. Oh, the misery. Yeah. I mean, I prefer... shit. Yeah, it's the ass. It's the ass. Where's Gamble at? I'm sorry. Where's Gamble here? Yeah, we'll drop the ass. What do you want to put in place of ass? A Brade. Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what? We're officially bumping this to Soul Ring because that's actually in the deck. We're there. I do want to state that gamble in relation to Summoner's Pack. Okay, so Summoner's Pack is probably going to be a little bit less. But mind you, Summoner's Pack only grabs green creatures. Gamble grabs anything. Although, I gotta say, Abrupt Decay is pretty good. Let's just try what we have, okay? Can we just try what we have? Is this playable? Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. We really need the dorks that tap for other things. I'm just curious. Like, oh, my God. Go for the girls here. Go for the girls. At least we're pinching them in the balls when we do that, right? I'm just curious. I've got 30 lands in here, right? Oh, so this is a good diversity. I wish this is the Golgari one, but it's not. We do have Snoop. We can't play Snoop. It's not looking good for our hero. All right, we got the Spirit Guide. We got the Animate Dead. We got the Leonin Relic Warder. Yeah, this is something. It could probably use Entomb or our Buried Alive, right? You know what I really want? I really want to just put Tymna down. And we're close here. We're close. All right, so... God, why does Tymna have to have... Tymna's weakness is the fact that she has to use white. Right? But so does our Leonin Relic Warder. We're not going to be anywhere close to casting the Leonin Relic Warder. This is a tough one. Finding the right hand for this deck is tough. If we only had mana sufficient to do what we needed. Why am I seeing so few lands with each of these hands? Like 30. When we've placed, I just want to state for the record, can we just have a little halftime here? For the record, anytime you've seen me cold brew Brew Master a deck and we've play tested, we've definitely seen a good diversity of hands with like a lot of lands. Generally speaking, we've seen like 2 to 3 lands on average with most of our play test. With decks that have 28 to 29 lands on average. But for the deck that has 30, the fact that we've only seen one hand with 2 lands in it, kind of staggering. Especially when the deck is so hampered in its land base. I gotta say, like, we took all the course correction methods we could to, like, give ourselves a land base that was efficient enough that it's surprising to me that it's not. Like, this is not looking good so far as our lands are concerned. But let's try to find the ideal hand here. We might just want to take out one of those animate spells because this is better. This is better. This is playable. Okay, let's do that. Let's do this one. Only because I like what my turn 2 looks like, right? I could go for Tana, but to be perfectly frank, I would prefer Dark Tutelage. I would much prefer that. And just holding up the Pyroblast, like, I feel like that's a better play. You could even just put down the Skirk Prospector and sacrifice it, provided you needed the Pyroblast. So, let's go that route. Next turn. We'll do the Stomping Grounds. We'll do here and here. The life loss might be important, but I'm not going to track it because we're not doing anything like Ad Nauseam, Necropotence, anything like that. I will put down the Dark Tutelage and I will put down the Skirk Prospector. Sure. If I felt like I needed to hold, I would have. We don't have white mana, very much white mana. Makes me feel like Swords to Plowshares might be not the premium removal we want. Because we're not really focusing white mana. But let's go. This is what we see off the top. Mana Confluence, that's perfect. Thank God we hit a rainbow land. Okay, so we've got sufficient enough mana here. I do kind of just want to put Tymna down and get the ball rolling on drawing with Skirk. So 1 white. We're going to do our black in the back. And this just taps for whatever. So we'll tap for green here. Why not? And I will swing with a Skirk Prospector, draw a card, lose a life. Cool. Draw a card off the Dark Tutelage, and then this is our top deck. We'll play the blood. We probably should just draw first, see what we have. Yes, we do have this setup here. I mean, we technically have a win, but it's not like we have very much protection. We don't have the mana sufficient to protect ourselves, right? Yes, there's a Twin Flame. Yes, there's a Dual Caster Mage. And yes, if you're doing the math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, this is a turn 4 win on combat. Would I push this? Not necessarily. I don't think this is smart of us right now to push Sans any sort of defense. I do think it would behoove us to just wait a turn. I know as crazy as that sounds. Unless this was a Heat Shimmer and we could hit an opposing dockside, right, and maybe get the mana sufficient. Well, that wouldn't even help, right? Because we would need that shit to resolve first before we had the mana to do anything with it. So, what I do want to do, we're going to slow roll this and then just play into a turn 5 win, if anything. And mind you, in doing so, we need to leave mana open to potentially stop wins at this point. Because from turn 2 to 5 is when people are generally trying to win. Generally. Let's attack here and here, and let's just, for pretensity's say, that we have 2 draws. This is fine. I think that we're going to go for... We'll do the Blood Crypt tapped, and then we'll do the Mana Confluence we'll do the generic in the green here to do the Sylvan Library. I'll leave the Mana Confluence open. Do I want to get this dork down? Not necessarily. We still do have the Skirk Prospector, though. It's really the difference of, because Skirk Prospector at any point can sacrifice itself to do the Pyroblast, and if we leave the Mana Confluence open, we do have an ability to do a Swords to Plowshare. I can't think of many creature-based solutions outside of our own deck here that are commonly seen where Swords to Plowshares is hyper valuable, unless someone's trying to kill their own dockside and reanimate it, or we just need to get rid of a value piece and or Hate Bear that has been stunting us. So in this Pretenzi universe, I'm going to say that the best course of action is to just put our own dork down to have as much mana as possible going into our next turn, and keeping the Pyroblast open provided we need to counter Athos's Oracle or help or aid in some fashion a put down attempt, like stopping someone from doing a win. Okay. Happy we had that discussion. Also important to note, the upkeep is going to happen before the draw, so no matter what, we can't stack the deck with Sylvan Library to get what we want on top before the Dark Tutelage. So we'll just do this now. Next turn, that's the tutelage. This is the top deck, and then we get to see, mind you, we get to see these 3 cards. Do we pull all of them? Generally speaking, I'd say just draw it all. This way you can go through the rest of your deck. If you don't care about your life, and we don't necessarily care about our life here outside of the Razaketh lines of play. So we'll go for the Dark Boar pathway and the... which is really funny because we have a Forest, a Swamp, and a Dark Boar pathway. Whatever. All right, so at this point, this is a safe place to say we should go for the win, right? And it makes total sense here. So I like it. I also like what we've got going on just with the Eternal Witness. We've got we've got a great way to pull back solutions for later, provided we fail. And we have Animate Dead to bring back potential creatures that we might have lost, like WinCon's later game. This is good, though. So I would ship this now. I would just put down whatever. It doesn't really matter. One of these are going to be feeding the generic cost, right? So do you red, black. We'll do the Twin Flame. Oh, we'll use Twin Flame copying Tymna here. Or the Fine Horn Elf, excuse me. Then we'll do this, and then we'll do another red off the Mana Confluence to do the Twin Flame. Provided we need to, we can use this for the Pyroblast. But where our first line of defense should probably be the Veil of Summer, right? So Veil of Summer, then Pyroblast. And we're in like Flynn, I hope, with this, right? So infinite creatures off the Twin Flame Dual Caster Mage combo. Oh my god. Twin Flame Dual Caster Mage combo. And then we get to swing and kill everyone, right? If you've never seen this, basically Dualcaster Mage will make a copy of Twin Flame. Twin Flame will target Dualcaster Mage. Dualcaster Mage will make a copy of Twin Flame. Twin Flame will make a copy of Dualcaster Mage. Que sera. Game is over. Not bad. Yeah, let me see. Hola, Bobby Z. It's because you're playing Tymna. Wait. A braid is epic and cool. Thank you, Trueheimer. I agree. Gamble. The best red in Tomb. Yeah, I agree with that. James Coe says LOL. Oh yeah, forgot it only grabbed green creatures. Tiger, yeah, the Summoner's Pack is still fine though. I think that Summoner's Pack is a good suggestion. I do think that what we have here is fine. I'll do one more test hand with you guys before we close out. I think for sub $500 that this is in a good enough spot. I wouldn't say this is a great spot. Even crop rotation feels a little weak here. It's mostly for the color fixing, and we've got a lot of green generation between our dorks and our land base that it is of benefit to just say that that forest or that dual land becomes another type of dual land. It is really that important. And Harrow being in the deck is also equally important. I think that going the route of fetching our lands via traditional methods for a cEDH player, like more cards like Harrow, like 3 visits, things like that might behoove us. But let's go ahead and find the more optimum starting hand. Imperial Recruiter and Gamble. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do this. And only because the way I see it, this Gamble is going to turn into a Dockside Extortionist, right? So we're going to do this Gamble for a Dockside Extortionist. Roll the die. 1d8 on an 8, we will re-roll. 7. Mother. Fuck. Okay. That is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Wow. That's great. What a great start. Should we have just Eladamri's called for the certain thing? Hell no. Gamble. Great card. What did you just say? Best in Tomb? Fun fact. Fun fact. Gage, this was a very fun time. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to close it out in just a second. I think that kind of closed it out for me because I was really riding on getting a mess of mana. But mind you, we could still do things. Like, I would do a Dark Writ into Tymna right now. Screw it. I hate that we're not getting the most out of that mana. But Dark Writ is going to supply us with 3 black. We'll use 2 of the black for Tymna's cost plus the white here. We have a black left over. Nothing to do with it, and then we'll pass. We got a command tower. I'll swing. I draw. We'll do a command tower. Into... Now, at this point, I think that this can equal an Eternal Witness. Give me 1 second. I don't know if that makes the most sense, but... Oh, my God. What the fuck? It's... What? What? Get out of here with it. Get out of here. Private. Has it been private this whole time? Have you guys been able to see it? Here. I don't remember making it private. Sorry about that. All right. So, creatures. We've got a lot of them. What is the best one to grab? In most scenarios, I would say a combo creature. I want to say that we can grab anything, though. So it wouldn't hurt us to go with the Snoop line, I guess? Let's just see if we can win with Conspicuous Snoop. Let's see how good Patrick is at this game. Speaking of myself in the third person, what the hell? Would the Dark Tutelage make more sense? Yes, but I want to get the ball rolling on winning the game, ideally. So generic, and red from the command tower. We'll grab the Goblin Recruiter. And then we'll do that. Let's swing here. Oh my God, I drew 2 cards. It's amazing. How powerful is Tymna? Would it make sense to do Stony Silence? Totally. Let's start with that. Do they want to counter it? They can combo it if they can. If this is good, Stony Silence, then we'll go for the Goblin Recruiter. Now, there's no great way to haste enable in this deck. As a matter of fact, there is no haste enabling. But I do want to set up the Snoop line. And let's just see if I can figure out how this works. So, we got the Keeks, the Jeeks. We got the Mog Fanats. So, okay. Let me see if I get this straight. For this to work, we're going to need how much mana? If we're just doing it as it stands, what we need to do is create... We're going to line it up such that it's... I'll shuffle. Mog Fanatic, Kiki Jiki, Conspicuous Snoop. Everyone is aware that we're trying to win now. Not good. Also, wouldn't we draw Kiki Jiki? We need another goblin. My god. Skirk Prospector. Sure. Skirk Prospector. Conspicuous Snoop. Okay. Here's how this is going to shake out. Let's see if I can just do it. Let's see if I can just do it. Oh my god. What did I just do? Skirk Prospector, Conspicuous Snoop. Kiki Jiki. Mog Fanatic. Okay. Here's how this is going to shake out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. All your mana shut off. I really hope. Let's not attack and draw because that would really screw me up. That would really, really screw me up. This... y'all wanted the Conspicuous Snoop. I'm giving it to you, okay? I'm giving it to you. There you go. We cast Conspicuous Snoop. We pass with Conspicuous Snoop. That's where this combo sucks a big fat D in my opinion. Because I'm going to have to use this off turn for the Chain of Vapor. I don't know. Pyroblast, the Chain of Vapor. Just stop. Let me win with Conspicuous Snoop, please. I'm really, really trying here. I'm really trying. Thank you. Okay, next turn. Skirk Prospector. Oh, thank God it was just Skirk Prospector, because this is on top of my deck. Blah! We make infinite copies of Conspicuous Snoop. +1. The last Conspicuous Snoop, okay? The last one. The last one. This one right here. This ugly looking thing. What the hell is that? Well, this one. This one's going to make a copy of Goblin Recruiter. Is that right? Oh, and do I reorganize it like this? I just reorganize it like that. All the Conspicuous Snoops and all the King's Men, they just sacrifice themselves. They sacrifice themselves and they kill everyone. That's the idea, I think. Is there a better way? Is there a goblin that gives haste? Do I use the torch? God. The torch lighter? What is the goblin's name? It's just, the haste goblin. Yeah. It's not a good I don't like this combo. There's a goblin that gives haste though. This one. Another target creature gains another target creature? What? There's no good way. Wait, there's got to be a way. It doesn't matter. We're moving on. All right, people. Tana Tymna, under $500. Can it be competitive? Yes. Kenneth Olson. I hope that this answered the question. Can a deck that is sub $500 be competitive? Yes. I think with a little bit more fine-tuning, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit of fine-tuning. Maybe nixing the Conspicuous Snoop line. Maybe making a better just Kiki line would make more sense, because I hate combos that involve too many cards. I hate, like, Protean Hulk piles. I know it's fun for some people to assemble those or think about them, but just theory crafting, separate from actual play, this is fun to think about. This is better to execute on. So I would state that I would probably nix the Conspicuous Snoop line and do something else. It's fun that we could actually do that in this deck, but I am certain that I was probably not executing it on it best, but I do know for a fact that it includes a lot of cards that I just don't care about. So we could probably nix that, add in better lines of play, refine the land base a little bit more, and obviously alter this such that it's still under $500 but incorporates more value cards. Although I will state that we did pack in a lot of good ones. Like, we got the Dockside that we never got to play. The Sylvan Library's in there, which we did get to play. Dark Tutelage, which is fantastic. There's a lot of value in there that is lower than your $10 mark, and obviously a few things that are 30 and up. I would reserve a lot of the budget of this 500 for good tutors, specifically the black tutors. Those are the best. And that's it. I think that this is fine. I think that you could certainly refine this to a certain extent. What makes competitive list really good, though, in the 4 to 5 color region in particular, is that optimized land base. Having all the fetch lands, having a proper dual lands, giving yourselves the colors you need when you need them, because that mana fixing is crucial. And that is what a lot of these budget competitive high-powered decks lack, is the efficient land base. And that's why I usually recommend for people getting into competitive Commander, start off with a mono-colored list, or start off with a dual-colored list. Like, that is going to be a better starting point for you, because you're going to be able to fit more into your budget that way, and you're not going to have to think about mana fixing, which is really what trips a lot of people up, I think, in the high-end line of play for Commander. It's a casual format, but when you're playing a competitive game of Commander, it's tricky when you're on a budget. So it's the lands. Trust me, it's always the lands that muck you up. Regardless, though, I enjoyed building this deck, and I hope you enjoyed building it with me. As I do with all these videos, though, I like to thank, one, Brendan Moore, because I'm pretty sure Brendan is not on this credit roll, but you, the viewing audience, as well as our Patreon community, you guys are the sole reason I'm capable of doing this content. You know, you guys come in every single week, help support the content here, and that makes all the difference. It means that I can still run this program and it be fruitful and make sense for me with my 5-day-a-week schedule now, which is kind of crazy. But I'm enjoying the heck out of myself. Again, this is always a nice break for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves with this deck tech. I hope it was enjoyable in the least, or at least enlightening on what you can do sub $500. I'm certain that we could have made this even more proactive, but I'm surprised that there was never a moment where I felt like it wasn't excelling or doing well with the hands we kept. And mind you, if we mulliganed down to certain hands, we probably would have been down to like 5 or 4 cards, and it would have been a different scenario, but finding those optimum hands and then playing through it told a different story. I would certainly amend the land base and, again, correct what combo lines we're playing for, but otherwise, you could do a lot on $500, and I think that this, hopefully, Kenneth, is a good example. Again, my name is Patrick Marlett. Thank you guys for tuning in again, and happy brewing, babies.